Alright, I'm here. Hello. We're waiting for it to start. I think we should start in 5 minutes or so, so just chill out for now. Yeah. Alright, looks like we're getting going in about 1 minute, so I will start to talk. This is the final stint, so I apologise for being a bit low energy. I have been either driving or streaming for the last 3, so that's my excuse. So yeah, we'll wait to get going. This is lobby 2. I am not entirely sure what the order is. I know that we've got the leader of the GT3 class in here, that being the Austrian, and they are quite a long way clear of the rest of the field. In terms of the hypercars, I'm not entirely sure where these cars line up, but I know there's a few quick drivers in here, so hopefully this will be a good race. Got the start incoming. Here we go. And I'll try to do my best to commentate what's going on. We'll see. Put on my race info. I will have to exit out and then go back in once the race starts, due to the way that this game works. For whatever reason, it decides you can't go into the track cam when it starts. So looks like a fairly simple getaway for the WSR car at the front. And they're all driving fairly nice and cleanly in the hypercars. Let's look back to the GTEs, and the same situation by the looks of things. No real changing up of positions or anything at the moment. Oh, and there's a spin. Who was that? Joe Cubano, unfortunately out of turn 1. That's not the best way to start off your stint, but hopefully that'll give him the motivation to go on a comeback drive. Alright, Rico, we're going for a move, maybe. Oh, it's a bit sketchy up the inside, and Dust Velo stays ahead. Rico Ware now just holding behind for a bit longer. Dust Velo with a penalty, I guess, for cutting the chicane there. I didn't see, but I assume that's what that's for. Up in the hypercar class, Flaves dropped off a bit, along with our player. Gap's sort of increasing a bit. We got the Spanish driver has a half-second penalty behind the WSR car, so the WSR should now be able to drive away a bit, get ahead. Okay. And yeah. So, Be Widdy, I could call him that. He's keeping fairly close to the Austrian. The Austrian in Stint 2, that's the last time we saw him, drove an incredible race. Literally just drove away from the rest of the field and won by a long way. Rico are now ahead of Dust Velo, who's served the penalty, I suppose, with Flipsy now very close behind, so could be an interesting battle. We'll watch this one down the straight. I'll go on board with Flipsy. Go and chase cam so we can see a bit more. Up the inside, it should be a fairly easy move for Flipsy to pull off here. Rico has braked later, but I think that might have just been a lag thing as she lagged back a bit. Flipsy now takes that position. Rico right behind though, looking for a manoeuvre, but not quite yet. Further behind, everyone in fairly normal formation for now. We'll keep with Rico Air. Could be possibility for a move into the chicane, so we'll watch. And looks like Flipsy is going to stay. Oh, Rico Air goes for the move. That was all a bit dodgy. Now with a better exit, but Flipsy staying ahead. Maybe Rico Air realising that was a bit of a audacious move and sticking behind. Be Widdy with the penalty. That might drop him a bit further back towards the guys behind. And the Austrian now driving away a bit more. into the lead. We'll have a look at the hypercars. Vlave is now caught up to our player. We're a bit closer now. And Samper a bit close to the Spanish driver as well, although the Spanish driver dropped back due to a penalty. So we'll see if he can pull away again. So we'll watch Vlave. We'll go on board again in chase cam. See if he's able to get. Our player's gone very deep there. Vlave with the much better line through the corner will be looking for a better exit. And now, our player got a good exit, to be fair. Now Vlave will have his work a bit cut out in order to try and get back past. We'll see if he can do it. Our player still remains in fourth. Vlave behind. He'll probably have to stick behind, and it gives our player a bit of a bump. Probably have to stick behind until after that sector. Now Dustvelo fighting Ricoware now. Dustvelo, oh, that was a bit harsh from Dustvelo. Pushes Ricoware off the track there. Ricoware now under pressure from Sick Individuals, fellow Porsche driver. And Rico on the inside into the Curva Grande, so that should give her a bit of an advantage. But then Sick will have the inside for the chicane if he can stay alongside, but he's lost out a little bit there. Rico remains ahead now, and she can go chasing back after, I guess. And now Vlave has got past our player. I sadly missed that. Apologies for that. But let's see if our player can get back. This is a long straight, so our player does stand a chance here to pull a move back on Vlave and get back in front. Will he be able to? Will he go for it? And Vlave back in front. Now we'll watch Dustvelo, who seems to have better pace than what maybe was expected. Able to keep up with Flipsy. Maybe go for a move soon. Oh, that's a bit dodgy. Dustvelo drops a bit further behind Flipsy, and Ricoware will be looking for me, hopefully not revenge, but maybe a bit of trying to get back ahead after what happened earlier on. She's definitely got a bit of lag on that car, and Joe Kibano now has caught up to the fellow DLL car, Ostergashenk. And Joe now up the inside. Makes it stick, nicely done. Joe goes into 12th. And now, Flipsy right behind Bewitty, the two Aston Martins. They've dropped a bit off the leader, the Austrian, and now they're fighting to see who can get into that P2 in class. Obviously it's not actually P2 due to how the lobbies work out. There's multiple lobbies, but P2 in this one. So here we go. Down the back straight, Flipsy now 4 tenths behind. I think it'll be a bit far behind. They are in the same car, so no straight line advantage for either of them, although one might have a bit less downforce. Flipsy on a good lap, personal best by half a second. Looking to get past Bewitty. Flipsy was quick in the last stint, so he might be able to pull off something. And here we go now, onto the main straight, coming towards the main overtaking point. Dustvelo definitely has good pace in this. He's looking like one of the quicker guys on track in terms of the GT3 class. We'll have a look at this, off board. Flipsy with the 47.5 on that lap. Will he be able to get past? No, he's a bit too far back into here. We'll have a look at the hypercar class. I think everyone's fairly spread out up here, yep. So we'll go back to this battle between these three cars here. Ricoware's dropped off a bit, so it looks like it's just these three in the fight for second in class. And here we go, Flipsy now. Much closer to Bewitty. Can he find a way to maybe get to the inside of the chicane? That's where he'll be looking. He's planning to keep behind, save some fuel, save some tyres. use B-Widdy to his advantage, and then... Oh, and B-Widdy now with the penalty, so I guess he's cut the chicane there, so Flipsy will get past now, and B-Widdy will be thrown into the clutches of Das Velo. That will be a bit closer now. Yeah, and Flipsy, so Flipsy will go into P2 in class here. By the looks of things, having a look at the fuel, it's all fairly similar at the moment. Joki Bano pitting, might have had damage, that could explain that. It's a bit of an early pit stop. Rico Ware, a bit wild through Ascari. Here we go. B-Widdy takes his penalty. Flipsy goes in front. Das Velo still a little bit off, so B-Widdy holding into P3 in class. That's fine. He won't be too annoyed at that. And now they move through onto the main straight again, looking for the main overtaking zone on the lap. So B-Widdy will be looking to just get back past as quickly as possible. That's what we're expecting here. See if Flipsy will allow it. Well, he won't try and allow it, but he might not have much of a choice in the matter. Here we go, B-Widdy looking up the inside briefly, but Flipsy stays in front, so that's fine. And Das Velo now right up behind B-Widdy, so this could become much more of a three-way battle. Das Velo's been a little bit behind them so far, but he might be able to come up and join the fight now. And here we go, the first hypercar, the WSR car, now coming up to lap these guys. Could make it interesting. A bit more tricky for them all. Looking a bit further back, Rico Ware and Sick now, very close together, getting lapped by the Spanish driver in the hypercar. Osliger Schenk, two DLL cars not really having, Flipsy also a DLL car. Two of the three not having the best of times at the moment. Up in the hypercar class still, a lot of big gaps. Not too big between Sampa and the driver in front of him, but overall they're quite large gaps between the cars in hypercar class, so we'll keep watching on with the GT3s, because that seems to be where most of the action is at, and it's mostly with these three. Oh, you're welcome, Flame. No worries. The WSR have had a great time in this race, actually. Yeah, this one here has been absolutely dominating. Here we go. Following on with the three cars battling for second in class behind the WSR car. Flipsy holding it, and B-Widdy's made a bit of an error through turn one, so now Das Velo might be looking to go past here. Let's have a look. Flips. B-Widdy, he's holding, Das Velo can't get past. One thing I do know about that M6 is if Das Velo's running the same setup as his teammates, he's got very good top speed, so that should help him towards a better overtaking opportunity. So we'll see how that goes for him. He's a bit closer now to B-Widdy. I think B-Widdy might be the quicker car in fairness, but the slipstream will help Das Velo to stay close and maybe go for an overtake. Vlave now in the hypercar looking to lap these two, and there he goes, right past. Rico Ware and Six still close together on track. I think Rico Ware looks to be a bit quicker, maybe got held up with the lapping cars, so I imagine she'll pull away a little bit now. I'm looking at the Twitch chat for the other lobby and Charles is being salty. I don't know what's happened. He might be right. You never know. We'll keep watching on here. Flipsy now pulling away a bit. After B-Widdy's mistake in turn one, I think Flipsy's been able to pull a bit more of a gap on them, and he's done a very quick lap time of 47.0. That's very quick, and he's been catching the leader now, actually, the Austrian driver. He's run a 48.6 on the last lap, not the best lap time from him. Flipsy might be able to have a go. We'll see, but these three aren't too far behind. Oh no, Das Velo, that M6. He's been reset. Oh, that is the worst possible thing that could have happened. That is a lot of time lost. Let's see, look, 10 seconds or so lost with that spin. That is pain. And that's the M6's main weakness, is that it's a bit too happy on the throttle. It's quite easy to spin out on exit, so yeah, it's been an eventful race so far, all in all, but I think we'll see how it goes in this stint. Sam Pennell lapping Joe Cubano. As I did in stint 2, I'll briefly go back and forth to the hypercar class, but a lot of the time not much is happening there because they tend to spread out and just drive away from each other. So we'll keep our eyes on this GT class. There's a bit more action, some more entertainment for us to enjoy. Flipsy, the gap stayed pretty stable now to the Austrian driver, so maybe a bit more, maybe a bit of a fluke lap on the last one for both of them, but Flipsy did get in a lot on the last lap. And B Widdy now coming towards Flipsy. This could be a close fight. B Widdy with a 47.5, Flipsy does a 47.4. These are very quick lap times. The Austrian does a 47.6, so they're all lapping at pretty good pace. Das Velo now has dropped into the clutches of Rico, who ironically was the one who he pushed off into the gravel, so we'll see what happens here. I'll keep an eye on this battle. It seems like the closer one on track at the moment, so we'll watch on. Das Velo maybe lost some confidence with that spin. Seems to have lost a little bit of pace compared to what he had before, but let's see. He'll probably get that back fairly soon. And Flipsy, he's still pulling away a bit from B Widdy. He's closing a tiny bit on the Austrian driver in front, but maybe not enough. And yeah, all the drivers keeping fairly nicely on track. There haven't been too many crashes or anything so far in this lobby. The 2 M6s have spun, but that's about it. Yeah, not too much being worried about at the moment, which is kind of nice to see. Watching lobby 2 and hosting lobby 1 at the same time. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it, honestly. Yeah, I've got the lobby 1 stream up on my laptop next to me, so I can see what's going on, monitoring my teammate. But yeah. Okay. Rico and Sick have been so close together all race. It's been about a second, the gap, for a long time. It's interesting to see. Yeah. I don't know if maybe Sick's just using her to just gain some time, I don't know, save fuel, use the slipstream, but it might be a bit far back for that to really be working. Flipsy has gained time here. I don't know where, because the lap times don't look too dissimilar. But Flipsy has gained time on the Austrian driver here. So, hey, Kawajo, welcome. Yeah, B Widdy. He's doing pretty well, to be fair. And Rico were now with a penalty. She had closed up on Das Velo, so that's unfortunate. Not going to be able to get past there. We're looking at, in terms of strategies now, we'll start thinking about that. We're looking at a one-stop for both classes, if you do it well. Some cars have been two-stopping, which also works. I think the one-stop may be a bit faster overall in both classes. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, if you're looking at a two-stop, you're maybe looking at a lap 17 to 19 pit, and a one-stop probably about 23. going to be interesting to see how this goes. Yeah, the pace has been really good actually. I think, yeah, a lot of cars have been really on it in these races. So we're just gonna, we'll watch the leader here, the Austrian. He's keeping it clean. Flipsy now though, really starting to catch up. Look how close this is. This is under 2 seconds now. And bear in mind this was about 4 seconds earlier on. And Be Witty coming with Flipsy. Flipsy with a 46.8. That's a very quick lap time in his pursuit. He's got a bit less fuel than the others, but not loads less. If he can still pull off a one-stop with this, and if he can keep this pace, it'll be very impressive. We'll have another quick look back at the hypercars once again. Still just going along. It is a shame that there's not too much closer, and that could be a result. Don't want to say it, but it could be a result of the way the lobbies have been set out for this. But yeah, at the moment the hypercar class doesn't really produce too much close racing. I think a lot of the drivers are a bit too spread out, and maybe with, yeah, the way that it's worked, we end up with not the closest of racing. But it is an endurance race after all. We're not necessarily expecting loads of battles, so we do have one brewing though. Flipsy has no I'm not. Never ending game. It's a good question. No, Peach is not with me at the moment. It's just me on my own, unfortunately. So yeah, we'll just watch. Flipsy doing really good pace actually. 46s. I've not seen anyone else really do consistent 46s during this time. So yeah, Flipsy now chasing after the leader, the Austrian driver. These two are looking to probably have quite a good battle. Be Witty waiting in the wings. He's doing good lap times still, so he's still around. He's still going to be involved should anything happen. Looking a bit further back, these guys have spread out a bit more. Slightly larger gaps between the rest of the field, so we'll keep looking at the front of the GT pack. And Flipsy now only a second behind the Austrian driver in the lead. Aston Martin seems to have very good straight line speed, and he, yeah, able to catch and look to pass pretty soon by the looks of things. So Flipsy really in it, really in the zone at the moment. He seems to be driving at the best I've seen him. So, oh, I've jinxed him. He's had a bit of a mistake there. Maybe touched a bit of grass on the entry into Parabolica. He's lost some time there, but only about a second, so he'll be able to go and gain that back. It's not the end of the world. He's avoided damage as well, so he should be able to go forwards and chase again. Bit of a shame for him though. One thing to note is that the WSR car, the Austrian, does have better tyres and better fuel than Flipsy, so it's in terms of the strategy race, Flipsy may be losing out a bit, but we'll see how that plays out as the race goes on. We're getting into the phase of the race now where you just sort of got cars over the track. The hypercars sort of lapping the GTs randomly. You no longer really got two distinct packs of cars. In terms of the hypercars again, still fairly spread out. Fairly nice big gaps. No one in a really big battle at the moment. So yeah, now Flipsy, he's gained a bit again on this lap. He's bringing himself back into the fight for the lead of the GT class, and maybe soon enough he'll be able to go for a move. So we watch again. Be Witty still doing good lap times, waiting in the wings. Maybe if one of them trip up, he'll be able to get in front, or he'll just be able to run a nice chill race in third. I mean, yeah, he is technically ahead of Flipsy in the overall race, so something to keep note of. The WSR car here, the Lexus, is winning by a fair margin, so in terms of that he doesn't really have to fight Flipsy too hard. If Flipsy is going to go for some big moves, if I were him, I would just let Flipsy go and run his race, because it's about bringing it home for the overall race win, not necessarily the stint win. Yeah, Rico has pulled away from Sick now. They were quite close earlier on in the race, but now it's a bit more of a larger gap. Does Velo a bit further up the road. He's obviously had his spin, but he is doing good pace now. It's a 1:47.1 according to the game. That's a very quick lap time. So if he keeps that up, he'll start moving towards these guys up ahead once again. Flipsy's brought the gap down to 1.3. So now, coming back into the fight, coming back into where he was before, still doing good lap times, still chasing. After that small mistake, maybe looking to bring himself back into the lead. Flipsy with the blue flags now. Probably a hypercar coming through. Yep, it's Vlave there. But look at this, 1.2 seconds. It's very close. Possibly the first time that I've been watching a battle for the lead in these races, but it's good to see. Vlave up the inside of Flipsy. I don't think either of them losing too much time with that one. That worked out fairly nicely. And now Vlave will go past the Austrian driver fairly quickly on this back straight towards Parabolica. So yeah, maybe Flipsy did lose a bit of time in that. He's now got to chase again. Might be the story of Flipsy's race, and we're starting to come a bit more towards where we might start to see pit stops. We're on lap 14, 15 now with the Austrian driver, and we might be starting to look at pit stops. For a two-stop, you're looking at maybe lap 17 to 19. Could see pit stops, so it's not too far away now. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. Up in the hypercar pack, our player dropped a long way behind Vlave now. Vlave only 8 seconds behind Sampa, and Sampa only 7 seconds behind the Spanish driver, so it's close-ish. If there were big mistakes, then stuff could happen, but at the moment, while they're all driving as consistently as they are, no one's really losing out. I mean, look, if you look at Vlave's lap times, there's one exception of that 34 on lap 13, but the last few, they've all been very, very, very consistent, so it kind of shows how it's been going with this class. And yeah, maybe they're all just spreading out a bit, not seeing too much battling. But here's where the action's at. Flipsy's still chasing. Flipsy's tyres are in worse shape overall, so he might struggle now to be able to chase down. But he looks like he's still got the pace. He looks like he's going to be able to do it still. So we'll continue to watch, and hopefully Flipsy can provide some entertainment here. B Widdy just serving a penalty in the background there, most likely for cutting the second chicane. It continues on his way. B Widdy doing good solid lap times, low 48s, high 47s. Keeping himself somewhere around that fight to try and maybe get involved if things go wrong up ahead, and run a nice consistent race to the end so that his team can do as well as they can. Looking further forwards, the Austrian driver doing a personal best in the first sector, but Flipsy is still gaining. I'm wondering if Flipsy's going to get past before the first pit stops. I'm starting to doubt it more and more. It's becoming a bit more of a... He'll chase, but he's not quite quick enough to catch by the looks of things. Here we go, 1.2 seconds, it's getting closer. Be Widdy dropping off the bag a bit more now, and Das Velo as well. The gap's staying fairly stable now between all of these cars. Joe Cubano with loads of fuel might be trying to run to the end. It'd be an ambitious strategy to pit so early and run it to the end, but it's possible, I think. And the tyres will be screaming by the end of it, though. And now Flipsy with his fuel in the red. I think he's going to be looking at a two-stop in this race, unless he fuels up a lot for the final stint, which I suppose he could do. Under 1 second, I think that's the first time it's been under 1 second, the gap between the Austrian and Flipsy. B. Widdy's dropped behind a little bit, and Das Velo, he's starting to catch B. Widdy maybe. Rico with the personal best lap time, and Sick as well fairly recently. But this is really the battle I want to watch. Yeah, 1.1 now. Seems to me like Lex is a bit quicker through the corners, and Flipsy in his Aston Martin is making most of his gains on the straights. And we see our first pitters from the hypercar class, Samper and Vlave. This could be a one-stop, this could be a two-stop. It's hard to really call at this point. I think maybe more likely a two-stop at this point in the race. And they continue on their way once that's worked. Now here we go. Once again, about 1 second the gap. Flipsy, he gains. Maybe the dirty air is holding him off a bit once he gets toward this section. Well, there we go. Oh, Flipsy's gone wide through Parabolica. There he is. Right the way off the track. Comes back on. He's held that well. He might get a penalty for that one. Let's see. I don't think you do get penalties for the outside of Parabolica, but I'm not 100% sure. He's been alright. He's survived. Hopefully he doesn't have dirty tyres coming into the first chicane, because that would be quite off-putting. And here he goes. He's still catching. I think he's going to have to pit in the next few laps, though. I don't know that he's going to get the Austrian before his pit stop, but maybe later on in the race he'll be able to. Although the WSR car has saved more fuel tyres, it might be a struggle to beat it with the strategy as well, and running very good pace as well. B. Widdy, he's close. He's not too far off, but his pace maybe not quite up to the standard of the top two guys at the moment. Das Velo and Rico Ware as well. Everyone just sort of spacing out now. We've only got that battle up here, but now Flipsy seems to have dropped a little bit of time, but not too much. We're a third of the way through the race now, 30 minutes. And it feels like it's been a bit longer, but here we go. Coming into Parabolica now, Flipsy's still about 1 second behind. It's been the same story for a while. They've started to equal out on pace. Now maybe Flipsy's tyre's a bit more worn, starts struggling a bit with dirty air, so could be why he's maybe lost his advantage a little bit. Here we go, 8 tenths now, coming into the first chicane. And they do have a hypercar right behind, but that should go past through the Curva Grande. Flipsy now well within slipstream range, as you can see. He's going to have to pit very soon, could be this lap, maybe the lap after if he's able to stretch it a bit. Can't quite tell with that graphic, would be good to have the proper fuel graphic up, but unfortunately Gran Turismo doesn't necessarily allow. But Flipsy now, yeah, 6/10 behind. This is very close. And they're looking like they're going to lap another GTE car fairly shortly. Joe Kibano there in the DLL BMW. Maybe he'll try and help out his teammate Flipsy, but maybe that's not the most ethical of ways to do this race. He's actually not helping Flipsy, as he's going to be giving the Austrian driver a bit of slipstream down this straight, which would be taking away some of Flipsy's straight line advantage here, actually, which is maybe not what he wants, but Flipsy now right behind. Perhaps a bit too little too late, though, at this point, with the... he's gone wide out of Ascari. He's brought it back onto the track. You can do that. You don't get a penalty. You do lose a bit of time, though, as you can see. And now will Flipsy pit this lap? Very possibly he will. Yeah, and in he comes. And the Austrian driver continues on with the extra fuel and tyres that he's saved. Flipsy now into the pits. He'll be looking for maybe 65%, 70% for this pit stop. B Widdy follows Flipsy into the pits as well. Let's see, will he fuel up for a 1 or a 2 stop? That's what's interesting here. I have a feeling B Widdy will 2 stop it, because that's what that car's been doing so far. I'm not sure about Flipsy. Not sure exactly what he's been doing. The hypercar class still staying put by the looks of things. They've been through their first round of pit stops, the majority of them. I don't think our players pitted yet, though, interestingly. But the rest of them have, I believe. And now Flipsy refueling. It does take a long time with these settings that they've got on at the moment. One of the more annoying tasks in the race. And B Widdy has exited the pit, so B Widdy ahead of Flipsy. B Widdy slightly under 50%, so that'll be a 2 stop 100% for them. Flipsy looks like he's fueled up for a 1 stop, so hence B Widdy getting out ahead, and Flipsy now only just ahead of Das Velo by the looks of things. Will he stay ahead? Hopefully he will, for his sake. But it looks like Das Velo might have the advantage. Flipsy on the inside, and Das Velo lets him go, so Flipsy now taking up 9th place. B Widdy takes up 8th with less fuel, but will have to make an extra stop compared to Flipsy and most of the others. So Rico and the Austrian now, the two who haven't pitted at the front. Everybody else, I believe, has, yeah. So these two have not pitted. And we'll wait and see. It should be fairly soon. For my stints, 1 stopping, I was pitting about lap 23, so they'll probably be around there as well. Interestingly, Joe Kibano seems to have the pace to stay ahead of the Austrian in that lapped BMW car. Not almost lapped, not quite lapped. Yeah. So yeah, none of these pitting. Flipsy's gained a bit on B Widdy on his outlap, which is not entirely surprising. He has been the quicker of the two so far in this race. And a penalty for the first place car, WSR. But they have a big gap, so it won't be an issue. And now we have big gaps between all the cars. Flipsy and Das Velo close together, but I imagine Flipsy, going to be pulling ahead fairly as the stint goes on. And yeah, once this happens, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to commentate, but let's see. Flipsy might get an undercut, to be fair, on the Austrian driver, and that will be interesting, because the Austrian will have to come back at Flipsy. Both of them going to be on a 1 stop now, I think. Flipsy will have worse tyres, and he'll have to fuel save a bit more, but let's see how it goes. The Austrian now stealing a bit of a slipstream from Joe. Yeah, although he might be looking to get past fairly promptly, or maybe just go into the pits to avoid it, having to get past. Joe maybe should be letting him through at this point. But Joe staying ahead. Maybe doesn't want his race compromised, even though he is a lap down. Flipsy and Dust Velo still only about 9/10 the gap. But, yeah. Flipsy now pulled ahead, 1.5 second gap. And just keep an eye. The Austrian might be pitting this lap or possibly the next one. I'm not sure how much he can stretch. He's got ahead of Joe now. Our player looking for the first pit stop now, the final hypercar to make a pit stop. So that leaves just the Austrian driver and Rico Ware out on track, having not pitted. And I imagine it'll be this lap or the next for both of them. Joe going to serve his penalty now through the penalty burn zone, and continues to be a lap down, fortunately for him. Obviously he had difficulties with his spin pretty much straight away, so it's not been smooth sailing for Joe so far, but it does look like he's had decent pace. He was able to stay ahead of the Austrian, who is leading the class obviously for a while, as now the Austrian he pits, and obviously the leader of the GTE class takes his first pit stop and probably only pit stop at the race. Let's see if I think Rico Ware's going to be pitting as well, so those two now, everyone will have made their stop. And it's been a very clean stint so far. I haven't seen many crashes, many issues. It's been going very well, which is unusual. I'm not sure I understand. Siri's talking to me for no apparent reason. Yeah, Rico Ware also coming into the pits. Very similar fuel level. Shall I, Bosworth? Hang on, Bosworth. I'll talk to you on Twitch. Hang on. Yeah, have fun with that, Bosworth, mate. For those who aren't watching the Twitch, I've just redeemed Mute the Streamer. Alright, here we go. So after the pit stop, the Austrian driver has come out ahead of B. Whitty and a long way ahead of Flipsy. So Flipsy, because he wasn't able to save as much in that first stint and he's had to add more for the second stint, he has lost out quite a lot there, and that's maybe what the biggest problem is for him. And now he's dropped to P3 in class. He'll be able to come back up. No, that wasn't me, Bosworth. No, of course not. I wouldn't do anything like that. No close battles for you either. Yeah, I've got nothing either. We got these guys. They're fairly close, but I don't think anything's going to happen. Yeah, not really sure what I'm looking for anymore because oh, here we go. These two are close together on track. Oh wait, never mind. It's a hypercar and a GTE. I'm going slightly blind now. I've been watching cars go around the track for too long, maybe. Yeah. Not really sure what I'm looking at anymore. We'll watch Dust Velo for a bit, see what he's up to, see what he's doing, how life's going for him. I apologise, I had too much to say at the moment because there's not too much going on, but I'm keeping an eye. We'll see what happens. Here we go. Be Witty seems to have the pace over the Austrian. Could be an interesting fight. Obviously, Be Witty going to have to make an extra pit stop, but he could briefly take over the lead of this race in the GTE class. Bit of pride, a bit of... There we go. Sorry for that break. I'm back. Oh, and there's been a change for the lead in the hypercar class. I think the WSR car's just pitted, and the Spanish guy's got ahead for a bit, but he looks like he'll be pitting very soon based on those tyres and that fuel. There's a lot of red on the screen there, compared to what there usually is. Be Witty, maybe he's dropped back a little bit. He might not be able to make the move here. Flipsy he's gaining. He's doing quick lap times again. He's obviously had the disadvantage of having to take on more fuel, but yeah, Bosworth, same as me. I've got not much close racing at the moment, unfortunately. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing anymore. But it's okay, I get to sit here for another 45 minutes. Oh, Be Witty, he did close up, but the Austrian seems to have got a bit more of a gain with Sampa now lapping Be Witty, maybe not in the most graceful of manners. So Be Witty maybe not too happy with that one, but he shall move on. And yeah, this race started to drag a little bit for me. I've been at it for 6 hours, or well, even longer now. So I apologise for my lack of enthusiasm, maybe. Yeah, there's not too much close battling going on track, so we'll go on board with the Austrian driver and we'll see how he's doing. We'll go in the passenger seat and just watch on board. Fastest lap of Crowhawk in lobby 1. What's that? I can't see the rest of your message. 1:30.3. Yeah, that's a good lap time. Yeah, apparently, I think 29s are possible. Sikkim, who was our driver in the last stint, was saying 29s are possible. And if anyone's going to do it, it will be Crowhawk. So let's see. He might manage it. Hopefully he doesn't crash, though. That's usually what he does. He sets the fastest lap and then crashes. Now, the Austrian driver, he's been lapped by Vlave. He's done his personal best first sector. He's had a really good race, to be honest. His stint 2 was incredible. This stint's going very well for him as well. He's had some pressure from Flipsy and B Widdy, but he's overall so far been the class of the field. He's been leading fairly easily and happily. He didn't crash, but he spun. Yeah, that's how it is. That's the thing with Crowhawk. He drives as fast as possible on the limit 100% of the time. And sometimes that results in incredible pace. And sometimes it results in loads of crashing. And yeah, it's quite stressful to watch as his teammate. There we go. I don't know entirely what to spectate. Dos Velo has kept up with Flipsy. Flipsy's had a bit of a scruffy lap there. Bewitty's still close behind the Austrian driver, but none of them are really like going for moves or anything. They're just sort of sticking close behind and holding there. I don't really know. Oh, here we go though. Our player has sort of played into B Widdy's hands here. Oh, and the Austrian's made a mistake. He's had a very poor exit. B Widdy takes over the lead of the class. He of course will have an extra pit stop to make, but he now leads for a while. And 1.4 seconds out of the gap. So Flipsy actually now, with that mistake from the Austrian, Flipsy only 5 seconds behind. If his pace is good, he could be on to win this stint, because he obviously doesn't need another stop, unlike B Widdy. So it could happen. It could happen. And yeah, I'll continue to watch on with the Austrian driver as he now chases back after his lead, which he's had for the whole stint so far up until this point. And let's see how he does in his pursuit of B Widdy, who's now taken over the lead of the GTE class. And he'll be looking to pit again, let me think, maybe around lap 35-ish, something like that. Maybe a bit later than that, and then he will run to the end after that. So obviously he's going to lose a lot of time doing that, but he can lead for now, and he might be able to make back some time with some fresher tyres towards the end. Fresher tyres on the fuel. Thank you, Bosworth, for that. Yeah. Oh. The Austrian once again out of that second chicane. He's had another horrible moment. Lots of oversteer. Flipsy now right up behind, and B Widdy now pulling away. So the Austrian maybe not. Maybe he's dropped out of his nice groove that he was in before. He's maybe lost some of his flow. He's still in a very strong position. He's still net leading this stint. He has the best tyres and the best fuel towards the end. He is still in a good position, but he has been making a couple of mistakes on the last 2 laps, so he's going to have to iron that out so he can get back towards what he was doing before. Return to the lead. And up in front, up in the hypercar class, our player, Vlave, they're all sort of just chilling. As I say, this whole race, the gaps have been very sort of static. Sampa has now got ahead of the Spanish driver, but the Spanish driver has a lot more fuel and tyres. Yeah. It's hard for me to really speculate what's going on because I don't really understand the strategy of this car. I've been driving the GTEs, so I don't really understand the strategy for these guys, but I can watch, I can see what's going on, what's happening, try and understand what they're doing. It looks like it's a pretty static race though at the moment, and not too much is changing. It's the Austrian now, 1.5 only is the gap between him and Flipsy, and Flipsy now showing his pace, showing that he could very much win this stint. He does have the pace for it, he showed it in the first part of it, and yeah, there's always the possibility. We're coming a bit towards the hour mark. No, I haven't even checked how Rico Ware's doing. Rico Ware now, with the 1 second penalty, fairly long way off of the guys in front. Flipsy now right behind this Austrian driver. They've got Ostergeschenk in front of them. Maybe going to act as a bit of a bottleneck. Maybe hold up the Austrian driver. Flipsy might be given an opportunity by this, but I think Ostergeschenk going to let him go. There's a hypercar getting involved as well, the leading hypercar. It's all a bit sort of chaotic. They've all made it through. Flipsy definitely lost a little bit of time in that. Be witty. Still holding the lead of this again, as I've said, but he's doing good pace and he's holding the lead of this class. And yeah, definitely a somewhat interesting race starting to pan out. It's definitely a battle between these two, the Austrian driver and Flipsy, for who's going to win this stint in this class. And I'm interested to see who ends up winning, because it's quite close. Flipsy seems to be the quicker car overall, base pace. The Austrian has better tyres and better fuel, so it's a bit of a strategy versus overall pace kind of situation that we've got, and we'll see how it goes for them both. I'm actually looking like Flipsy might be the more likely to win here. The Austrians made a lot of fairly large errors. Flipsy could be the one to take the stint win. And obviously, B Widdy, he is leading the stint, and he has been very good. He does have to pit again. I keep saying it. I don't know why I keep saying the same thing. And Das Velo as well is actually showing good pace. Will also have to pit again by the looks of his fuel. I don't think that'll make it to the end. But he's done well as well. He's had a few mistakes, and that's maybe what's put him back out of the fight, but he has had good pace overall. Ostergeschenk now is behind Joe, so these two have not had the most fun of races, but Ostergeschenk a bit behind Joe. And yeah. Up in the hypercar class, as per usual. Things staying fairly static. No one's really gaining or losing much. So yeah, we'll keep with this Flipsy and this Flipsy battle to see who can take home the win in the GTE class. It is nice to see a fairly close battle on track, especially for the win in a class. yeah, it's pretty exciting actually. Flipsy now very wide. Comes back on the track. This is the second time I've seen him do that in the dirty air, but he's now right up behind. And we'll be looking at maybe a move in the next lap, depending. He does have the straight line advantage. He has done all race. So definitely possible for him to make an overtake. I have been sitting down for too long. Now the Austrian driver still holding in the lead. We've got the Spanish guy here trying to lap them both. Flipsy maybe taking advantage. Really getting tired now. Yep, I feel you. I drove Stint 1, I streamed Stint 2, I drove Stint 3, and now I'm streaming Stint 4. It's been quite a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, I'm definitely feeling it a bit now. But we're coming towards the end of it now. We've got about 17 more laps with these GTE cars, and yeah, we're coming towards the end. Well, Flipsy now is very, very close behind. This could be well set up for a move into turn 1. If he makes through Parabolica nicely, gets a decent exit. Looks like the Austrian's got the better exit out of the two of them. Flipsy running a bit wide out of Parabolica. Vlave is looking to lap both of them. That shouldn't really be an issue. But it has meant that Flipsy has lost out on the slipstream. No worries, never ending game. I appreciate you being here and chat with me. And now Flipsy is getting a bit sketchy on the exit there. He's kept it going though. He's 4/10 behind. It's possible for him to get a move going into the chicane, into the second chicane. Not the easiest place to overtake on the track, but it's very much possible. And he is very close, but maybe not quite close enough. And yeah, he brakes a bit earlier. Looks for maybe a better exit. Try and keep close to the Austrian in front of him. They are both catching B Widdy now. And Dust Velo maybe catching them a little bit actually. Not loads, but a little bit. And he will need to pit again though, so not quite in the fight. These two are the ones who are looking to win this stint based on the strategy. And Flipsy now, I think he might be close enough here for a move into Ascari. He is close on the exit of the Lesmo, the second Lesmo. He could be close enough for a move into Ascari. Let's see. Can he do it? Nope, he holds off. Maybe setting up for a move into turn 1. This has been in the works for a long time. Flipsy, he's been close to overtaking this guy almost all race. It's been like this all race. Flipsy behind chasing the Austrian ahead. Sampa now makes a pit stop in the hypercar class. It's very low on fuel. Looks like Vlave will be very soon as well. The top two have a bit of extra fuel and tyres to be able to run for a bit longer. But here, this is what we want to see. This is what we want to watch. I will now go on board with Flipsy. We'll go into chase cam. Let's see. Can he make this move? 3/10 now. 3/10 behind. He's gaining. He's got that straight line speed advantage. He's got the slipstream. Is he going to pull to the inside? Yes, there he is. Now he's got to brake a bit later. He's made up the inside there side by side, and there we go. Fairly textbook move into turn 1. Nicely done. He cuts the inside of both apexes as he should, and now he takes second place in the class, but what will end up being the lead once B Widdy pits. And Flipsy now looking for a stint win here. It's not been the nicest of races for DLL so far, but this could be a nice redeeming factor towards the end, with Flipsy able to make his gains back. And yeah, so now Flipsy actually catching up to B Widdy as well, so he might be looking for the overall lead in the class as well once he gets past B Widdy too in the hypercar class. Still fairly static between them all. Sampa's dropped behind Vlave with that pit stop. Vlave looking like he's going to pit this lap probably. Yep, there he goes into the pits. Sampa will regain that P3. The WSR car and the Spanish driver still staying up in front in the top two positions with extra fuel and extra tyres, looking like they're probably both going to the end now. And Sampa trying to work out if these are both BNR cars, because they are quite similar liveried cars, and yeah, I think they are. So the two BNR cars close together on track. Sampa retakes his position ahead of Vlave. Vlave drops to P4. Our player is a little way off behind the back of the pack. Flipsy now. He's not pulled away from the Austrian. The Austrian's staying in the fight. Where livery of the day, Bosworth. I could not tell you, mate. That's not for me to do. You know, personally, I know I'm biased. I would give it to the Arix, the hypercar, but there are some good liveries around. I like all of the WSR liveries. They're very nice. Those are probably my favourites. The BNR ones are pretty nice as well. The Lexus, which is in the other lobby, is a good looking car. Ryanair Lambo. Yeah, it's not a bad shout. The Austrian still holding on to the back of Flipsy. Flipsy now starting to pull away a little bit, maybe catching up towards B Widdy. So these three have really been in a class of their own in this race. B Widdy obviously on an alternate strategy on the two-stop, but still keeping the pace. And Joe Kibano, who seems to have somewhat decent pace, he can kind of keep up with the leaders. Not quite, but he can kind of keep up with them for a couple of laps before they manage to lap him whenever they come up behind him. Flipsy's lost a bit of time there. The Austrian, he's a bit closer, but I don't think he's close enough to be able to go for a move. Looking behind Rico, where Dust Velo obviously made another pit stop. Rico will be going to the end, but with worn tyres, so Dust Velo might be looking to catch there. Sick up behind Dust Velo as well, I guess, after Dust Velo's pit stop, but probably unlikely for a move there due to Sick having the worst tyres, and then obviously Joe Kibano and Ostigashink maybe not having their best races, but they continue, and it's good to see that drivers, you know, continue on with racing even if it's not going as well as they maybe would have hoped. Flipsy now gets past Joe Kibano, laps him, chases after B Widdy. There's no more cars in between them now. The Austrian maybe stuck a bit behind Joe Kibano. That'll be frustrating for it. Flipsy definitely looking for an overtake on B Widdy. He's overtaken the Austrian. Now he can overtake B Widdy to take over the lead of the GTE class, and I mean, he will do once B Widdy pits anyway. Oh, our player lapping Flipsy. He's pushed him off the track. Joe Kibano and the Austrian now right behind Flipsy. That's a bit dodgy. Oh, it's all a bit hairy there. Joe Kibano lets the Austrian go. The WSR LMP1 goes through past them all. Flipsy won't be happy about that. Our player definitely made a bit of a dive bomb there. Probably would have been better off staying behind. Yeah. I think maybe your lobby less interesting than mine. And B Widdy, here he goes. He's making his pit stop. So now he will drop back behind Flipsy and the Austrian, probably ahead of everybody else, given the gap. And we'll see how far he can get back. I don't think he'll be able to catch these two again, but he'll be able to move his way a bit further forwards once more. And these two will then fight it out for the stint win. I would put my money on Flipsy at this point. He seems to be the quicker of the two of them. But the Austrian does have the advantage of better tyres towards the end. So let's see how it goes. Oh, really? Bosworth? Oh, that is unfortunate. Yeah. I think my energy has definitely dropped off a bit for this one. It is some pretty interesting racing, but I think I've had enough of Monza for now. The Austrian driver now has a 1 second penalty, so he will be having to serve that, and Flipsy will probably be able to drive away now. Once the Austrian loses the slipstream, it might be a lot easier for Flipsy to be able to get ahead and drive off into the distance, which is what he will be looking to do. Yeah. So now the Austrian driver serves the penalty and Flipsy takes over the lead now. Oh, well, he was already in the lead, but he's managed to pull out a bit further ahead. And this may be the end of my on-track battles. I think I'm going to have to join you now, Bosworth, unfortunately. But we'll keep watching, see what happens. Maybe we'll get some extra entertainment. There's only about 20 minutes or so to go, so not too much left of the race. It's been 6 hours of driving. A lot of drivers have driven for 3 hours each, and I think there will be a few tired people. Alright, Flipsy has pulled ahead of the Austrian driver. Be Witty 30 seconds back with 17 seconds to Rico, who was sliding her way out of turn 1. Be Witty now, it's a lot of work to do. He's not going to be able to catch these two, but he can move forwards and see where he can get to. The hypercar class is so spread out, it's somewhat ridiculous. Not much really to say on that one. The guys here in the GT class obviously a bit close together. Actually, the Austrian has gained back some time on Flipsy. Might not be over yet. Flipsy has done a 48.6, the Austrian a 47.7. Both of them a bit of a way off their pace earlier on in the stint. But maybe the tyre wear starting to kick in and slow them down a bit. It could be why. Let's see how they go. And there we go. So the gap down now to 1 second. So we've got basically the opposite of what we've had all race. All race we've had Flipsy chasing down the Austrian driver. Now we have the opposite. And let's see how it works out, because Flipsy does still have the straight line speed advantage. So it could be a bit more of a tricky overtake this time than what it has been in the past. Here we go, 9 tenths, under a second. Something could definitely happen here. There could be an overtake. We'll continue to watch on. The Austrian definitely will be looking to have 2 stint wins under his belt. He got the first one in stint 2. Can he do it again in stint 4? He's had a bit harsher opposition here with Flipsy. He's really pushed him. So let's see how it goes. These two definitely kind of somewhat a class above the rest. Be Witty has actually had the pace to somewhat keep with them, but obviously his 2-stop strategy has kind of taken him out of it, unfortunately for him. But these two are way ahead of the rest, and let's see how they do. Okay, apologies for being silent for a little bit. We'll go back to this battle. Flipsy now are only 6/10 ahead of the Austrian. They've got Sampa behind, who'll be looking to lap them both, but I don't think he'll have too much trouble. The Austrians had a bit of a dodgy exit out of the second Lesmo, maybe due to Sampa that. And we'll see where they end up. I think I would still say Flipsy with the advantage here. The Austrian may be looking slightly quicker at this phase in the race, but Flipsy with the track position, with the straight line speed, looking like the one who is going to come out on top here, but let's see how it turns out. It's very close. They've been well matched all race. The Austrians had slightly better strategy. The Flipsy may be slightly quicker overall. Anyway, they are very close. Be Witty, he's dropped off the back a bit. He's pulling away from Rico Ware pulling away from Sick. Does Velo has dropped a position to 6 somewhere. I'm surprised by that. And he'll probably be coming back. Looking at the tyres, it's a lot fresher. And now Flipsy, he's had a bit of a dodgy exit out of turn 1. So now the Austrian might be looking, might be able. Looks round the outside of Curva Grande, looking to the inside of the second chicane. Will he make the dive bomb? No, he'll wait. He'll hold back. Flipsy. They both come through the chicane nicely, quickly. Now through the Lesmos. The Austrian, he's got to find a way to stick as close as he is now. Despite the dirty air, despite everything, he's got to stay as close as he is now so that he can make the move. 3/10 is okay. Once it becomes 4/10, it becomes a bit too much. And there we go. Look, the Austrian, he's had a dodgy exit out of the second Lesmo. That's somewhat ruined his run there. And Flipsy now back again, a bit clear. He survived his dodgy turn 1. He managed to get a bit further ahead. Yeah, so Flipsy, he's pulled away now. It's 1.4, 1.5 seconds. We've seen this before, though. We've seen the Austrian come back from this gap to right out behind Flipsy. It's still possible. Oh, here we go. We'll watch this. 6 individuals and Das Velo. I did say last lap, Das Velo, much fresher tyres, looking like he's probably going to be able to pull a move fairly shortly. Let's see. Das Velo in that BMW, he's had a couple of spins. It's not been easy to drive by the looks of things, but he has been quick. And last lap he gained 2 seconds on 6, so this should be a move that he can pull off. They've got Samput coming past both of them. It's not an issue though. And they are coming up to kind of lap Oster Geschenk as well. They're not too far behind lapping him. And oh, Sick, he's got a bit wobbly coming through Ascari. Das Velo, oh, and Sick's got a penalty, so that'll be served next lap because it's a bit too close to the burn zone to be served this lap. Don't know why Gran Turismo does that. They could just not. Das Velo looking to the outside. Oh my gosh, onto the grass. And now braking into Parabolica. Sick still ahead. We'll have a quick check up on Flipsy and the Austrian. Still 9/10, fairly solid gap. And here we go. So Das Velo obviously knows that Sick has that penalty and he will get past at the end of this lap. But does he want to wait? Looks like he doesn't. He's going for the move into turn 1. It should be fairly easy to pull off. He's already ahead into the braking zone. And there he goes, past into 10th place. And with the fresh tyres, I imagine he'll be able to pull away, especially with Sick's penalty. And Sick struggling on the exit of turn 1. And we'll go back to this battle for the lead of the class. Actually, well, I'll have a quick look at the hypercars. And they remain fairly spread out as they have done all race. Yeah, we'll watch as the Austrian now chases after Flipsy. We've got 10 minutes left, 5 laps or so left. Not too much time for the Austrian driver now to be able to catch Flipsy and pass him. But he is only 6 tenths back. It is possible. It's definitely doable for him. Flipsy's been driving very well. They both have, to be fair, and got away from the rest of the field. B Widdy 32 seconds off. He's had a solid race in fairness to him. He's maybe been put back a bit by his strategy, which not as good as the others, but he's had very solid pace. But if you look at this, I didn't notice that Flipsy's tyre wear is so much worse, and it maybe explains why the Austrian's able to be only 1/10 behind now. A move into Ascari very much possible. Flipsy defended to the inside. The Austrian looking to the outside. And the camera decided to not show me. Flipsy makes sense. He holds the inside, holds the lead. Rico needs to be 22 seconds ahead of Das Velo to overtake in the standings. Oh, that will be close. See how that goes. See how that plays out. Rico looking to hold some time. Oh, and the Austrian. Oh, I've missed it. I've missed the overtake. Damn it, Zen. You ruined it. But now Flipsy may be looking to come back past on the main straight. There should be an overtake that Flipsy can pull off. He's very close. He's got straight line speed. Austrian should defend, but he's not. He's letting Flipsy go. Flipsy now to the inside. Makes the move. Fairly simple move for him. And the Austrian now just biding his time maybe. Knows he's got the better tyres. Knows he's got slightly better pace at this point. Can he pull back and get back in front? He's back 6 tenths behind, sorry. He will be looking to make this move as quickly as he possibly can. Alright, here we go. 4 tenths out of the gap. Maybe not close enough for a move into Ascari, but Parabolica or the first chicane, probably the first chicane. Definitely possible. 4/10 is the gap coming onto this back straight. Flipsy's still ahead. This is a good battle towards the end, right at the end of this 6-hour race. Obviously it's not for overall position, it's for position in the stint, but who really cares? It's about pride after all. That's what this race is going to end up in between these two, and here we go. 3/10 the gap. The Austrians had a better exit from Parabolica. Flipsy defends to the inside. Our player's coming up behind them, looking to lap maybe. The Austrian, he's not got the straight line speed on Flipsy, that's where the difficulty is going to be here. Flipsy holds the inside, the Austrian forced to the outside, can't make the move there. His brakes are bright red. Let's see, it comes through the first chicane now. Flipsy once again, half a second now ahead as they come out of the first chicane. And they've got 2 hypercars now coming up behind to try and lap them. And our player goes through on both. Will the Spanish driver do as well? Oh, he does, he's gone for the move, he's pushed Flipsy a bit wide. Flipsy's been compromised, the Spanish driver now boxed in with the 2 GTs. He's made it past, he's made it through and between them. It's all a bit dodgy there, but they've made it through. And now once again, we try through this section of the lap where the Austrian, oh no, he's had a bit of a dodgy second Lesmo there, and now see, he's got a second gap, and that's solid for this lap. The Austrian won't be able to pass on this lap unless Flipsy makes a mistake. So that'll mean that he'll have to push for this lap, manage to get back up behind for the end of the race. The last couple of laps coming up now, we got 3 more laps after this one by the looks of things. And now, 9/10 the gap. Flipsy looking a bit more comfortable this time round. They are definitely slowing each other up, especially as well. Those hypercars definitely were slowing them down when they were lapping. But I think they have clear track now. I'll have a look at the rest of the cars, see what's going on in the race. Looks like Das Velo just inside that gap that he needs to stay ahead of Rico, where it's very close. The hypercars still spread out, so we'll go back to this battle. Flipsy versus the Austrian driver, who I have called the Austrian for a long time now because I can't say his name. And now the gap 1.1, so Flipsy, he's got incredibly worn tyres, but he's managing to keep going. He's holding on. He's still holding the lead of his class at the moment. There's 2 more laps after this one. Well, there should be. Let's see if he can hold on. I think he can. I think he's got it in the bag now. DL, they've not had the best showing in this race. They've maybe not had the result they wanted, but this has been a good final stint for them. Flipsy definitely doing them proud. And now into Parabolica, there you go. The gap now down to 7/10. The Austrian, Flipsy a bit sketchy through the corner, a bit drifty. The Austrian now back half a second. It's not done and dusted, it's not over. Still the fight to the line. Flipsy in the 48.5. The Austrian 48.1. They're not on the pace that they were at the beginning of this race. They've got worn tyres, but they're fighting it out right till the end. And the Austrian, he's not had the best run through the first chicane. This is the penultimate lap by the looks of things. Wait, Witty's left. Is that a that is possibly the most unfortunate disconnect I've ever seen in my life. Oh my god. 2 laps from the end as well. He'd done a really good stint. Oh, and that is painful. That's I don't really know how to react to that. That really sucks. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big shame. He had done a very good stint. I'm going to keep watching on with this battle then. And as they come forward, come through, they're going to go on to their last lap pretty soon. This has been a very quick stint. As they come now on to their, what is their last lap of the race when they cross the line here. And here we go. Flipsy and the Austrian driver. This is possibly the last really good overtaking opportunity for the Austrian driver. He's looking towards the inside. He's a bit too far back. Flipsy stays ahead. We go through the first chicane. Flipsy gets the better exit. But the Austrian in the second phase, no, Flipsy. He's ahead. He's 7/10 ahead. He's looking good. He's looking good towards the end of this race. Let's have a check up on Rico Ware. Dusvelo's dropped some time. Rico Ware looking like she's going to be able to overtake him. Dusvelo had a bit of an error maybe. But we'll go back to this battle. It's 8/10. I think Flipsy's got it in the bag here. They've got the WSR, the leading car, right behind. Maybe going to cause some issues. No, being very nice to his teammate, which makes sense. It's the smart thing to do there. We've had our first finish with the Spanish driver and Rico Ware both finished now. Dusvelo is going to be too far behind Rico Ware to be able to overtake. And now it looks like Flipsy, he's held on. He's had the worst strategy, but he's had very good pace, and look how worn that rear left tyre is. But his pace has been it's been incredible, and he's managed now to take the win. WSR take the win in the LMP1 class, and second place in the GTE class, with Flipsy just about causing an upset there. And then I think that's everybody. Everybody now across the line, and we're done. 6 hours of driving finished. Congratulations to the winners. I think, unless something crazy has happened in the other lobby, that will be a win for the Arix Hypercar and the WSR GTE right here. I believe those are going to be our winners. So yeah, well done to them. All right. Yep. Alright, I think that's us done. Thanks for watching, everyone who's still here. I'm going to end the stream now. Well done all of the races, and yeah, that was a good one.